And now, ladies and gentlemen, to get the formal proceedings underway, will you please welcome our host this evening, the Chief Executive of ESB, Mr. Joe Mullen.
President, on behalf of ESB and our co-sponsors, Mockford & Ferma and RDS, I'd like to thank you particularly for being with us tonight to celebrate the achievement of the winning groups in this competition, and particularly to present the awards to them. It's an important evening, and I'm sure a tense one for many of you down there, for all of you who are involved in community enterprise. It's the culmination, I'm sure, of a lot of hard work over many months, over many years, and indeed maybe the beginning of work for many years to come in your particular enterprises. I'm sure that the local communities from which you come are with you, at least in spirit, and I know a lot of them are here as well. By your presence, President, you have made it for them a memorable evening, both those who are here and those back in the communities. Ladies and gentlemen, before we commence those presentations, I would like to ask the President of Ireland, who has particularly honoured us by her presence here, to address you all. President.
I'm delighted to have been invited to be here this evening. First of all, to see the presentation of each of the award winners who are here, and also to take part in the valuing not only of what they have done, because they are all winners here this evening, but of this very timely and I think very well thought out enterprise programme. And I'd like to begin by congratulating the ESB, Mockford & Ferma and the RDS on devising a very imaginative, innovative and appropriate programme to draw out what I have seen all around Ireland. I have had probably a fairly unique opportunity in the last year or so in going around the country to see the amount of local commitment, the imagination about the local area and the knowledge of it. It is people who live in their area, who know of its history, who know of its archaeological past, who know that an old mill could be converted, if only, who have a sense of frustration when they see young people, well-educated young people who want to stay in the area, finding that they'd have to go and find jobs elsewhere. And I think that is what has particularly appealed to me about this programme that we are celebrating here this evening, and that the award winners are receiving the tributes of having achieved so well within the programme. But the thought behind it is, I think, very important for the country as a whole. And it is that kind of bottom-up development, which is the very inward, trendy description of it. But I think it is an extremely important way of building on the strengths that are there locally, building on the voluntary commitment, and I would certainly agree very much with the chairman when he says that we underestimate and undervalue the amount and the extent and the importance of the voluntary commitment here in Ireland. I had been sent a good deal of very comprehensive briefing about each of the projects, but I don't think words can convey what these community enterprise projects are really about. I think you have to see visually to a certain extent, and also you have to hear the people who are working on these projects speak about them themselves. And I was delighted to have the opportunity to go around. I would have loved to have had more time, but there was a certain amount of pushing along to the next one, because inevitably we had the ceremony and we have the awards, and the evening must take its course. But it was a fascinating and enriching experience. I know both for Nick and myself going round. It was also obviously a joy to me to start, and I'll just go in the sequence in which I saw the projects, and to start with one from my own county Mayo, from Kiltimagh. I know Kiltimagh. I was delighted to see the way in which the strengths of Kiltimagh are being developed with such, as I say, enterprise and imagination and commitment and local financial support. And I think that that was, as far as I was concerned, a very good start, the West showing the way. I was very pleased to return to the Mullingar Enterprise Centre. I was aware of the very substantial commitment being made in Mullingar, and I was delighted to see that in fact it has reached the stage of completion, that an extraordinary amount of work has gone into providing the kind of flexible enterprise units which are indeed reflected in a number of the schemes, so that there is an opportunity for different kinds of enterprise. I think you'll find in these community projects that a lot of women will want to take up the enterprise possibility, will want to establish themselves and have the opportunities for self-development and for job creation, both for themselves and for others. And I hope that there will be a great openness to that. I was then very pleased to see one of the two Donegal enterprises which are here, Convoy near Letterkenny. I think I just missed it on a recent visit to Letterkenny, and I certainly would enjoy the possibility of getting back to Donegal very soon, and I would hope on the next occasion, very soon, to be able to see the development there, because again it's building on a past, it's building on a resource that is there, converting it into the kind of small jobs and enterprise future for the people of the Convoy area. And the next one, again, is a place that I know so well, and it was a great joy for me to see it, Erris. But the Erris that I knew was as a child going round the coast of Mayo, and somehow I wouldn't have imagined then that the beauty, the wild beauty of Erris and the depopulation that was going on could be addressed in the way that the Erris scheme is addressing it in a whole range of projects, and specifically it's the beaches and the blue flag thing, but there is a golf and other kinds of leisure activity developments. And these are exactly what is needed along our beautiful coastline, which Europeans in particular are beginning to find. We're finding, I think, more and more. I know that there were in excess of 160,000 French tourists here this year, over 100,000 Italians. I don't know the figures for Germans and so on, but I'm sure some of you here do. And what they want is this magnificent country, natural beauty, but also the kinds of leisure resources that grow naturally out of those areas. I was also very pleased to see the development in Mount Mellick, which again is a place with an extraordinary richness in its historical and architectural past. And I'm very pleased to see the way in which, again, in a grandeur of scale for a community like Mount Mellick, and it must have taken enormous commitment and fundraising to gather together the fruits of it. I have to say that I was really delighted to make contact again with that other project from Donegal, Louis. It's one of my happiest memories in recent times. The community in Dunlew, the beauty, the natural beauty of the glen itself. And the last of the projects in the order in which I was brought round to them was Carlingford. And it, I think, in one way, was the one I had least appreciation of, the richness of the medieval remains that are there, the extraordinary potential of Carlingford. Indeed, I mentioned that I will be next week welcoming the President of Iceland here on a state visit, and it will be a great pleasure for me to welcome the other elected woman president in Europe here. I know that she has a great interest in Viking remains. She visited Wood Quay some years ago, and I think I'll be telling her about the Carlingford project, because it is, again, a very Viking name, Carlingford, and there is such a richness, quite obviously, and a still underdeveloped sense of it. And I know that there's another project, because I got the briefing on it, which I didn't see in visual terms here this evening, but I would like to mention it, and that is the Ballyfermot project, the Matt Talbot project, because that is an area very close to my own personal, deep interest. I know of the work being done by Sister Nicole and others involved, and I'm delighted to see that they're getting a special award because they are dealing with a very vulnerable and yet very important sector of our society, and that is part of community enterprise. So what I find when I see this very exciting evidence of those of you who are, as I say, the winners this evening, those of you who have, because of your particular efforts and skills and imagination and enterprise, have come here this evening representing entries I gather from 24 of the 26 counties, so that there was a very wide range of entries for this programme. What it does for me in a very important way is it deepens my sense of the potential of this country, of what's happening at local level. It's also very good for me, for example, next month when I will be representing Ireland in the United States. I will have very positive images, very positive examples, a sense of what is really going on in this country, and a sense of the strengths of this country, and that if anything, we're only beginning to build on the resources that are there locally and build in an integrated, planned way that will provide the jobs and the future for our young population. Cúis áthas mé mar sin, bheithrá sin eoladh ar an ócáid an simú seo, agus déanam fógáda agus ó crí libh go léir as an éirt gasca atá déanta agé. Ar míle máide go léir.
Thank you very much, President, and I'm sure your inspiring words will act as a great source of encouragement and strength to all the community groups this evening. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to tell you a little bit about the evening. The ESB Community Enterprise Awards were established to encourage communities to get new business and employment ideas moving. The key to enterprise development is in planning, and it is for this that the prizes were awarded. The 90 entries in 1991 were divided into 5 categories based on population size. Each category had a prize of £10,000, and the winning community group received £2,000 at once, and the £8,000 balance on a pound-for-pound basis was what they themselves raised. The 5 category winners of 1991 and 2 of the 1990 category winners are this evening competing for the overall prize of £50,000. The adjudicators had the discretion of nominating one of the entries in each category for a merit award, which carries a prize of £1,000, and 4 communities have been nominated for merit awards this year. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to the presentation of the awards, and first we will announce and present the merit awards. The Togo Community Council in County Wexford have a fine record of achievement in community development. Earlier this year, they launched what must be a unique programme to cater for the medical, information and social needs of the elderly in the community. In 1985, after purchasing a 5-acre swath of land with a derelict farmstead, Togo Community Council set about planning the restoration of this fine example of a Yola farmstead and developing a craft village close to it. The restored farmstead will house the County Wexford Genealogical Centre. For their plan to develop a community-based tourism and heritage facility at Togo, they were awarded a merit award in the population category under 900. To accept the award from the President of Ireland, please welcome Jim Kalman. The merit award in the category 900 to 1500 population goes to Corcun Angus Atio from Inishmore. In 1988, Cór Cumann was established to promote the development of Inishmore and particularly to provide facilities for the Irish College. The new facility would accommodate the college during the summer months and the recreation and leisure needs of the island community during the full year. The community centre building completed earlier this year will also act as a base for development on the island. And to accept the Merit Award from the President, we please welcome Mr. Sean O'Flaherty. The Merit Award in the category for communities with populations between 4,500 and 10,000 goes to North Leitrim Integrated Resource Centre. Hamilton, County Leitrim is the meeting place of a number of concerned people who plan the development of North Leitrim Integrated Resource Centre. This centre will accommodate about 50 people and will have training and conference facilities. In the short and medium term, their plan is to build experience of tourism enterprises in the district. Initially, the group will concentrate on developing walking holidays and cultural programs. The group's proposal to produce a map and walking guide for the area won them a Merit Award in 1991. To accept the award from the President, we please welcome Betty Dyman. Still on the tourist trail, we turn to County Cork and to the barony of Duhallow. It is home to 24,000 people and covers a large rural area of 350 square miles, including the market towns of Kanturk, Mill Street and Newmarket. IRD Duhallow, a community-based company, was founded in November 1989. The company invited submissions from all communities in the area. 20 of the 34 projects submitted were tourist-related. Duhallow has no tourist product to attract people to the area, and to solve this problem, priority is being given to the creation of a Duhallow trail. This will involve surveying, mapping, construction, and signposting of a trail for walking, cycling, horse trailing, and driving. The Duhallow Trail project wins a Merit Award in 1991, and to accept the award from the President, we please welcome Ken Brennan. Those, ladies and gentlemen, are the 4 Merit Award winners. A number of community development initiatives, which are at the pre-economic development stage, were among the 90 entries in 1991. These comprise a special category with a category prize of £5,000 and a merit award of £1,000. One of these organisations, the Matt Talbot Community Trust, is a community-based group from Ballyfermot. This group befriends people from the greater Ballyfermot area who are long-term unemployed and who have suffered disadvantages such as imprisonment and addiction. The daily programme which the Trust operates involves bringing people together for a half-day's work, lunch and educational activities. To accept the award from President Mary Robinson, would you please welcome Dennis Murray. The Merit Award winner in this special category is Waterford Community Service Council, which is involved in a range of activities from arts and crafts, summer project for mentally handicapped children, and helping people with addiction problems. It also provides transport services to disabled people. The Council has recently obtained a premises from the Christian Brothers to act as a centre for their activities. To accept the award from the President, we please welcome Paddy Forsey. ladies and gentlemen, to the contestants for the ESB Community Enterprise Awards overall prize of £50,000. The 5 category winners from 1991 and 2 from 1990 are competing this evening for the prize. First on the list are Carlingford, County Louth, who are category winners for communities with less than 900 population. We will now see a short video which shows how Carlingford Loch Heritage Trust aim to preserve and restore the medieval core of the town with the purpose of strengthening its identity.
On this picturesque loch, nestling between the Cooley and the Mourne Mountains, little has changed in almost 1,000 years. Tall ships once plied their trade here, and in the tiny town of Carlingford, Norman soldiers strutted up and down the narrow streets. But despite its picture postcard scenery, Carlingford has no real history of tourism, and up to recently had no real infrastructure to encourage visitors to the town. In the mid-70s, the people of this small community got together and decided to make change happen. They won the National Tidy Towns Award in 1988, and starting from a base of no accommodation and only one modest eating place, Carlingford now has a hotel, 3 approved guest houses, and 3 good restaurants. The Carlingford Loch Heritage Trust is now set to add a new dimension, with a major plan to restore the medieval heart of this ancient town.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carlingford's well-balanced economic development plan will without doubt strengthen community identity through its conservational theme. Congratulations to Carlingford, and I would now like to call on Georgina Finnegan to accept the award from the President. The winners of the category with community populations between 900 and 1,500 are Convoy, County Donegal. Convoy Development Enterprise Limited was founded in 1989 with the objective of developing the premises formerly known as Convoy Woolen Mills in order to provide 75,000 square feet of workspace. And we will now see a short video piece outlining their achievement.
The red brick tower of the Convoy Woolen Company is a well-known landmark in this small East Donegal village. For over a century, the mill was the main employer in the area, and in its heyday, a workforce of 400 was involved in the manufacture of wool and cloth. When the mill closed in 1987, 120 jobs went with it, and other businesses in the area were badly affected by the closure. The mill workers and the community together undertook a feasibility study to look at the options. Determined to find alternative employment, they raised funds locally and bought the mill for £33,000, and the Convoy Development Enterprise was formed to develop the facility as a focus for new job creation and enterprise in the townland.
To receive the award from President Mary Robinson, will you please give a warm welcome to Mary Morris. The third category, with community populations between 1,500 and 4,500, was won by Kiltimagh, County Mayo. Represented by IRD Kiltimagh, a third sector company founded in 1989, the community plan is to develop Kiltimagh and its environments to the fullest, and in a way that will benefit the whole community. The company is developing a series of projects which form a comprehensive development plan for the area, as you will now see from the short video.
When IRD Kiltimagh was formed in 1989, it was responding to an area study which showed that a staggering 92% of school leavers were forced to leave Kiltimagh to find work. The people of Kiltimagh rallied together to find a way to reverse this trend, and having carefully studied the local strengths and weaknesses, a varied and ambitious plan was drawn up. It's an integrated program with a number of social and economic objectives.
And to receive the award from the President, will you please welcome Brian Nooney. Category 4, with communities of populations between 4,500 and 10,000, was won by Erris, County Mayo. Erris Tourism Holdings was founded in 1984 when commonage land in the area was to be divided into small lots. But one of the common owners had the bright idea of developing the area into a golf course and to develop the many other resources for the tourist market. Their idea to develop a blue flag beach in Erris won them a category award in 1991. And we now have a short video which outlines their plans.
This is one of the most westerly points in Europe, the edge of a continent. It's a timeless landscape that's been captured by 1 million camera lenses, but it's a harsh land for those who have to earn their living from the stubborn soil. The barony of Erris has a population of only 10 people per square kilometre, and most of these are farmers working small, uneconomic holdings. To supplement their income, many farmers traditionally have taken to fishing or other work, or have simply emigrated.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erris is an organised community realising the enormous potential of its local natural resources. To receive the award from President Mary Robinson, will you please welcome Morning Ní World Cup. The fifth and final category award winner for 1991 is Mullingar County West Meath. Mullingar Employment Action Group was founded in 1983 to create and to develop existing community and private enterprise which will provide permanent, viable employment in the environs of Mullingar. Their recent plan, which was completed and implemented in July this year, was to provide 6,000 square feet of workspace. And we now have a short video which shows what they have achieved.
A year ago, this was a derelict site. Now, after a complete transformation, it's about to become a new focal point for the community as the centerpiece of the Mullingar Employment Action Group's activities in the town centre. The Action Group rose from a deep public concern about the poor employment opportunities in this otherwise thriving Midland town. And the new Enterprise Centre is the latest in a growing list of successful achievements aimed at tackling the problem.
Congratulations to Mullingar, and I would now like to call on John McGrath to accept the award from the President. As a category winner, a community is eligible to re-enter the award scheme during the following 2 years for the overall prize. I would like to welcome back from among the 1990 category winners, Dunlewy and Mountmellick, to contest this year's overall prize of £50,000. Dunlewy Development Cooperative has in the last year completed a lakeside centre with a museum of the local economy, an access road, a jetty and a pleasure boat on Dunlewy Lake. The finished product is in strong demand with tourists. They now propose to develop the lakes and rivers to provide a fishing activity for tourists. And the video we will now see gives a flavour of the efforts and achievements of Dunlewy Development Cooperative.
The people of Dunlewy are a race of survivors, for this is a hard landscape of rock, bog and loch, which has always begrudged us a living.
There are very few possible sources of income or employment in the village of Dunlewy, tucked away in the heart of northwest Donegal. That's why a group of concerned local people took an Údarás na Gaeltachta community development course to see what could be done. After 5 years of constant effort, the Dunlewy Development Cooperative has completed phase 1 of a plan to bring tourists to the area. A lakeside centre at Dunlewy Loch, complete with 1940s theme Gaeltacht farmhouse, restaurant and
We
museum.
would like to invite Kate Hewis of Dunlewy to step forward to be congratulated by the President. Mount Mellick Development Association have last month completed the renovation of the old mill in the town to provide industrial units and office accommodation. They resubmitted their mill development plan in 1981, and we will now see a short video of their project.
This former 17th century Quaker settlement was once known as the Manchester of the Midlands because of its thriving industries in sugar processing, brewing, baking, weaving and soap manufacturing. But in the early 1980s, the people of Mount Mellick called a public meeting to discuss the harsh reality of economic decline and growing unemployment. From this emerged the Mount Mellick Town Development Association, a group of people with experience in business who've pooled their talents to get things moving again. And much progress has been made. The association opened a small office on the main street to channel information on training programs and social schemes to the community. It also offers a full secretarial service for new businesses starting up and for the unemployed.
Well, I would like to invite John Joe Dunn to step forward to be congratulated by the President. That, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the presentation of category awards. And I am now going to ask ESB Chief Executive, Mr. Joe Moran, to open the envelope and announce the overall winner of the ESB Community Enterprise Awards 1991. Mr. Moran.
It's a bit like the Rose of the League competition. The winner of the ESB Community Enterprise Awards 1991 IRD Kiltimagh. And most finally, again, I would like to thank you, President, for coming here. I think you have honoured the occasion, and I think for everybody you have made it a memorable occasion.
On this picturesque loch, nestling between the Cooley and the Mourne Mountains, little has changed in almost 1,000 years. Tall ships once plied their trade here, and in the tiny town of Carlingford, Norman soldiers strutted up and down the narrow streets. But despite its picture postcard scenery, Carlingford has no real history of tourism, and up to recently had no real infrastructure to encourage visitors to the town. In the mid-70s, the people of this small community got together and decided to make change happen. They won the National Tidy Towns Award in 1988, and starting from a base of no accommodation and only one modest eating place, Carlingford now has a hotel, 3 approved guest houses, and 3 good restaurants. The Carlingford Loch Heritage Trust is now set to add a new dimension, with a major plan to restore the medieval heart of this ancient town.
The long-term aims of Carlingford Loch Heritage Trust, which we set up last year, is the restoration and renovation of medieval Carlingford, so that the fabric of the town will survive for future generations. Now, in pursuit of this objective, we have short-term plans. The first one you see here behind me, Holy Trinity Church. We hope to restore this building as the interpretive centre for the town. Our second project concerns Tulsa Street, the most medieval of our streets. Here we have control over a site which we hope to develop commercially and as a residential area. The value of this to the Trust is we have control over the design of buildings so that they blend in with the medieval theme. And we hope this will act as the catalyst for the rest of the town.
The new spirit of enterprise in Carlingford has already stimulated investment in other amenities in the town. And when the Heritage Project is complete, Carlingford will be a unique attraction for tourists and a means of generating revenue for the local economy. The red brick tower of the Convoy Woolen Company is a well-known landmark in this small East Donegal village. For over a century, the mill was the main employer in the area, and in its heyday, a workforce of 400 was involved in the manufacture of wool and cloth. When the mill closed in 1987, 120 jobs went with it, and other businesses in the area were badly affected by the closure. The mill workers and the community together undertook a feasibility study to look at the options. Determined to find alternative employment, they raised funds locally and bought the mill for £33,000, and the Convoy Development Enterprise was formed to develop the facility as a focus for new job creation and enterprise in the townland.
Well, when we came into the mill, it was in a pretty disorganized state. There was lots of old machinery lying about inside all over the place, which had to be cleared out. We have built an access road around the perimeter of the building. We've put in a new sewage system at the back. We have built partitions throughout the mill to have a more flexible arrangement of the spaces available as we build spaces to order. In 3 to 5 years' time, the mill complex will look like this. There will be 75,000 square feet of workspace available with access roads, access points, and an employment potential of 150 people.
As the process of repair and renovation continues, the first tenants have already moved in. And with others due to follow shortly, a new lease of life has opened up at the mill. United in a common purpose, Convoy has turned adversity into opportunity with a self-help initiative that's fast developing new entrepreneurial skills and employment. Kiltimagh was formed in 1989. It was responding to an area study which showed that a staggering 92% of school leavers were forced to leave Kiltimagh to find work. The people of Kiltimagh rallied together to find a way to reverse this trend, and having carefully studied the local strengths and weaknesses, a varied and ambitious plan was drawn up. It's an integrated program with a number of social and economic objectives.
Our plan is in 3 parts. The main part is the development of company business projects, of which the key is the Community Enterprise Centre, which we're building in the town. It also involves venture capital projects, where we're enticing private investment into the town. And finally, it's composed of socio-economic programs, which are varied, but which are laying the infrastructure into place for the development of private investment in the town.
With job creation the #1 priority, work has begun on what will soon be the East Mayo Enterprise Centre. Over 9,500 square feet of converted workspace where people can put good business ideas into practice. Already it houses a small computer data processing operation using the skills of the local school leavers. Kiltimagh itself is getting a facelift. the community decided to give the town a distinctive atmosphere, and slowly the 19th century market townscape is beginning to reappear. And the company is developing, coordinating and marketing a whole range of package holidays, selling the amenities of the surrounding countryside to tourists of all kinds. The company's business plan represents the hopes and aspirations of an entire community, working together to exploit the economic potential of Kiltimagh for the benefit of everyone. This is one of the most westerly points in Europe, the edge of a continent. It's a timeless landscape that's been captured by 1 million camera lenses, but it's a harsh land for those who have to earn their living from the stubborn soil. The barony of Erris has a population of only 10 people per square kilometre, and most of these are farmers working small, uneconomic holdings. To supplement their income, many farmers traditionally have taken to fishing or other work, or have simply emigrated. But Erris has other resources. A pollution-free environment, miles of empty beaches, some of the finest sea angling in Europe, and space, plenty of space. Erris Tourism Holdings aims to get to grips with the unique economic opportunity on its doorstep. Work has already begun on an 18-hole championship golf course, the centre of a £1 million development on a site overlooking the Atlantic. And as part of its area strategy, Erris Tourism is seeking blue flag status for the local beach at Mullaghrow.
Blue flag beach status is of vital importance to Erris Tourism and to the Erris region. We have several beautiful beaches, and the inclusion of blue flag beach status in the future will be a further attraction to the continental tourist. Erris Tourism have purchased 8 acres of land fronting the beach in Mullaghrow. We plan to develop the 8 acres as an amenity park. We will provide children's playground facilities, develop a lake in the centre of the site, set aside a corner of it for a nature reserve. We also plan to have a sun tanning area, and finally, for anybody who wishes to cook barbecue on the site, we will have barbecue cooking facilities.
When the area plan is finally in place, Erris will have a leisure and heritage package to market, nationally and internationally, with the prospect of a real economic upturn in the community. A year ago, this was a derelict site. Now, after a complete transformation, it's about to become a new focal point for the community as the centrepiece of the Mullingar Employment Action Group's activities in the town centre. The Action Group rose from a deep public concern about the poor employment opportunities in this otherwise thriving Midland town. And the new Enterprise Centre is the latest in a growing list of successful achievements aimed at tackling the problem. Already, several community-owned and totally self-funding enterprises have been set up, including a manufacturing business for school and other uniforms, a home care service employing more than 70 people, a collection depot for waste paper, glass and aluminium cans, and a full-time business advisory service for anyone interested in new business startup. Some of these are now preparing to move into the new building from their cramped quarters in the old market house. The new purpose-built facility will house 18 workplace units, 2 food processing units complete with cold room, a canteen and coffee shop, and centralized reception and secretarial services.
The Mullingar Employment Action Group, having been working in the area of job creation, established through its business advice service the need for start-up space for industry in the town. And we believe that an enterprise centre was the way to go in that context. So we therefore took advice from other enterprise centres around the country and other people, and we came back and designed this enterprise centre which we're standing in now. And for us, it seems to be the optimum type of space for a town like Mullingar.
Since its formation, and working with other development organisations, the Mullingar Group has created 400 new jobs for unemployed people. With 57 applications already in for the 18 workspaces, the new centre is creating a new economic perspective for the town.
The people of Dunlewy are a race of survivors, for this is a hard landscape of rock, bog and loch, which has always begrudged us a living.
There are very few possible sources of income or employment in the village of Dunlewy, tucked away in the heart of northwest Donegal. That's why a group of concerned local people took an Údarás na Gaeltachta community development course to see what could be done. After 5 years of constant effort, the Dunlewy Development Cooperative has completed phase 1 of a plan to bring tourists to the area. A lakeside centre at Dunlewy Loch, complete with 1940s theme Gaeltacht farmhouse, restaurant and museum. The experience gave the group confidence that community effort, properly directed, can in fact make things happen. Now, in phase 2, they're planning to develop the freshwater salmon and trout fishing on the lakes, Nachong and Dunlewy, to attract more visitors to the area.
This was a fisherman's paradise here in Dunlewy. It was estimated that there were 7,000 to 10,000 salmon coming into these two lochs. At the moment, there's still a wild salmon run, but they're very small in numbers. Our plan for it to bring it back, to make it an angler's paradise again, by careful management, helping the fish in different ways. And we know that there's a big market out there in Europe, and they're mad to get in here to have a worthwhile salmon fishing.
The scope for salmon and trout fishing on these magnificent lakes is vast. To restore the area to its former glory, the Dunlewy Group plans to put in place a proper management and stock enhancement program and build up services for visiting anglers, which in turn will greatly add to the centre's facilities and bring income and employment into the community. This former 17th century Quaker settlement was once known as the Manchester of the Midlands because of its thriving industries in sugar processing, brewing, baking, weaving and soap manufacturing. But in the early 1980s, the people of Mount Mellick called a public meeting to discuss the harsh reality of economic decline and growing unemployment. From this emerged the Mount Mellick Town Development Association, a group of people with experience in business who've pooled their talents to get things moving again. And much progress has been made. The association opened a small office on the main street to channel information on training programs and social schemes to the community. It also offers a full secretarial service for new businesses starting up and for the unemployed. The administration of this service is completely funded from the proceeds of a weekly lottery, which so far has raised more than £250,000. These funds have been used to create the space to develop new industry and provide a focal point for enterprise in the town. The site chosen was the disused Odlum's Mill, lying dormant since the early 70s.
Once we have bought the mill, we sat down then as a committee and we decided that we would provide an enterprise centre which would involve workspace. We now have provided that with 10,000 square feet of workspace suitable for light industry. We've also provided an office centre, we have provided a boardroom and a canteen. We now intend to relocate our present office from Parnell Street over to these new offices where the same information centre will still exist. Now that we have the mill and we have workspace, We hope that it will attract outside industry, which will create new jobs in Mountmellick.
When the new Enterprise Centre opens, it will represent an investment of nearly £300,000 and an opportunity to turn the tide on unemployment in Mountmellick.